You're listening to The Ryback Show. Feed me Welcome to The Ryback Show live. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are listening from. Another Saturday edition show here of The Ryback Show. I hope you guys are having a great start to your weekend, no matter where you are at. We got a fun show for you today. I'm going to go ahead and plug. We have a fun show coming up Wednesday as well, 10:30 a.m. live. We will have Kimmy Granger, the one and only Kimmy Granger, ladies and gentlemen. Phoenix Marie, we talked about her on the show last week, and then Kimmy miraculously messaged me on Instagram because I'd sent her a message about a year and a half ago to do the show, and she never saw me. We follow each other on Twitter and Instagram. I'm cool like that, and she just never saw my messages because I'm not cool. And she's like, "Oh, I'd love to do the show." So we got her coming on. I did propose to her. I said when Phoenix brought her up, or I brought her up to Phoenix, she goes, "Oh, what did you say?" I go, just that follow each other. I go that I'd really like to do a threesome mukbang together, in which Kimmy, I do not think, is aware of what the word mukbang means. And it led for a very interesting rest of the conversation. So anyways, 10:30 Wednesday, live Pacific. Tune in, guys. Kimmy Granger will be joining me, and it's going to be a fun one. For all fan mail, please send to P.O. Box 752740, Las Vegas, Nevada, 89136. Feed Me More Nutrition, guys. Our Black Friday sale is going on, running massive discounts right now, 30% off right now until the 29th. Guys, midnight Pacific. Use discount code BLACKFRIDAY30 on feedmemore.com. Save 30%. You get an option for a free shaker bottle and workout towel, guys. We have gift cards available now on the website. We have a starter kit for people that for your first time buying the supplements, you don't know what to buy. We have a starter pack on there to kind of make things a little easier for you. We got beanies coming. We got face masks coming. We got gym bags coming. The big guys hooking you guys up. We're bringing everything to feedmemore.com, expanding the line as we continue to grow. So thank you guys very much for your love and support with that. Fuel Meals, fuelmeals.com. Save 15% with discount code The Big Guy. Meal prep at your doorstep makes eating healthy easier. Cameo.com/The Big Guy Ryback for all videos from yours truly for any occasion. Teespring, the official merchandise store for Feed Me More Nutrition and myself. Teespring.com. Just type in the Feed Me More store and you will see everything we got there. My book, Wake Up, It's Feeding Time, available on Amazon in paperback, Audible, and Kindle formats. Friends of the show, Zevia, Stevia Sweetened Soda, Trupanion, the official pet insurance for Sophie and Little Guy. They've had Sophie's back from day one, and I'm so grateful for them. They've saved me over $100,000, guys. It's actually significantly more than that. So just and money aside, they've allowed me to keep my dog, who she just turned 5 recently. Her and Little Guy are the loves of my life. So it's if you don't have pet insurance, look into it, whether you get them or not. Well worth it. BioAccelerator, the stem cell company that has helped put the big guy back together. Going down in February for my final treatments, and then it's back to the ring. Where will I go? Certainly not WWE. That's for goddamn sure. But I will be back. Social media, Ryback on Twitter, not verified. Instagram, The Big Guy Ryback 22, and on TikTok, The Ryback Show, Feed Me More Nutrition, Ryback TV on Instagram, Ryback 247 on Snapchat. I think I'm Ryback on Parler, starting to use Parler. I'm going to talk to our guest today actually about that a little bit, see what he knows about Parler. It's not starting off too hot for me though on there. I'm Ryback TV on YouTube, Ryback Rules on Twitch. But ladies and gentlemen, today's guest, he has returned. He has risen from the ashes. He was on the show not too long ago. But I love it when I have repeat guest returns. And this is the return, ladies and gentlemen, of Shane Hartline. What's
Oh
going on?
yeah, dude. What is there like a 5 timers club? Do I get a jacket at some point?
You will. I actually, it's like the Ribera jacket. I will get you.
Oh God, the feed me more version of the Ribera jacket.
It's a vegan steak on it though now.
I love, dude, and I want to talk to you about that because I need to make the shift to going vegan. But we can get into that. Before I do, are we doing a mukbang today? Is that what?
This is
Did I hear
every
that
show
right?
with me is a mukbang. Yeah. Kimmy Granger. So Kimmy, a mukbang, and I was unaware when I first heard the word. I go, that's a filthy word. It
Mm-hmm.
sounds disgusting. And I'm sure there's not a kid or a guy alive that hears that word and the first thing they think is like
Sure.
a smorgasbord of food. It's so Kimmy, and we're messaging, and she asked me that, and I go, oh, I told Phoenix that we should do a threesome mukbang because Kimmy eats burritos. She records herself eating sometimes.
Okay.
So I thought she was like if you do that, you typically will have heard of the word mukbang, which is how I came across it. And so I told her, I go, oh, me, you, and Phoenix, I want to do a threesome mukbang video just so I could put that in the title.
Yeah.
Threesome mukbang with the big guy, Ryback, Phoenix Marie, and Kimmy Granger. Wild. And then Kimmy literally goes, oh, that would be wild. You guys would kill. She goes, you guys would kill me though. And I go, oh, she doesn't understand. Like, but did I just get myself involved in a threesome somehow?
hey, yeah.
I think I did. So I'm gonna have to ask her live on the air.
Hey, win-win either way. If she thinks it's a threesome or a mukbang with 2 hot chicks, then you're good either way.
Double dip. Anyways, both, like Phoenix, they got their channels. Like we'll start it off as a food video for Ryback TV. We'll transition it onto their stream, whatever that is, OnlyFans. For Kimmy's maybe her OnlyFans. And let's just, we'll have a good time.
Yeah, exactly.
I've always wanted to do a porno called Feed Me Whore. And
hey man, if all else fails,
that Brazzers deal, get that $1 million Brazzers deal for the one film.
Hell yeah, there you go.
Oh,
it's good to see you again, man.
Yeah, man. How's it been?
It's been good, man. Like literally, my career. It's very bizarre since we spoke on the podcast the first time. So much wild stuff has happened in like 2 months. Not only my career, but my life. I moved into a new apartment. But like my it sounds so crazy, but like, I mean, my TikTok is like going wild. And
is it really?
Yeah, man. Like TikTok, as you know, is such a unique platform in that it's very inconsistent with like what hits. But if something hits and connects with an audience, you can grow a following very quickly. And I don't think there's any platform like that right now that you can grow something as quickly as you can on TikTok. Gary Vee, like we talked about him before, but he's been pushing that on people for years, like double down on TikTok and like, but it was soon after our podcast that we did. And maybe it's because of you, man. Maybe I got to cut you some of this TikTok money. I don't know. Maybe I owe you something. No, but like it was soon after the podcast that like I just had a video that connected and I went from like 3,000 followers and now I'm at like 170,000 followers.
Oh my God.
Surreal. And it's been career changing in many ways. Like I'm making some money on it. I've connected with like a publicist and all these like crazy things that was not happening in my career that now is happening. It's been, I don't ever like to say life changing because I like to keep life and career very separate in my mind, but it's been very career changing. I've had articles posted about my life, just bizarre things that like was not happening before TikTok.
Which is crazy because, and Gary, that's the organic reach on TikTok. And you're exactly right. That was because I've done videos. I've noticed if you do live videos, like if I do like my food for thought, or if I, like the other day I did a Thanksgiving, happy Thanksgiving to everyone, feed me more. That one did decent, which was one of the first ones I've had to do decent in a bit. But if I post like workout videos that I've already recorded and then put them on with music, those don't do shit on TikTok for me.
Yeah.
But
It's
if I flex and kiss my bicep and go, feed me more, I got millions of views doing that. And I go, what?
And that's so easy to produce. Like the
Yeah.
ones that connect for me, which it's a blessing and a curse because when I post one, they always do really well. Are these like baby bodyguard videos that I do where
Oh, I love those.
me and thanks, man. Me and a couple guys, we go out and we'd shoot in public and we let a kid go crazy and we just kind of follow his bodyguards. But the thing that those are kind of hard to produce. And so it's not like something that I can just like shoot in my room and or my office and pump out real quick. It's I have to like shoot them and stockpile them and release them over time.
Yeah.
So it's like a blessing and a curse because like I have to keep giving the audience that thing they want. And I'm trying to also slip in like the other things I enjoy doing and hoping that those connect. And some things have been, which is really cool too. And that's just the happy, or I don't know how to say it, but like, that's just how TikTok is like, you just don't know what's going to connect. But I think it's like the greatest platform for creators. It's really surreal.
I admire the people like you that put that time and energy into those videos because those are not easy.
No,
I've gone the other because like obviously the supplement line is my deal. So I use these videos and I actually adjusted what I want people to fall in love. Like, and this is not saying you because what you do is you're an entertainer on that, and that's what is working. And you do. I always like want things to connect back to wrestling where I want people to understand me better, where they watch the videos for like almost like it's an improv video with me in the food. And you never know what I'm going to say. You don't know, it could be inspirational, it could be funny, but I go for efficient videos. Like I got the dash cams in my car.
I was going to say, dude, I watch a lot of your stuff. I try to watch everything I see when I see it, but like the thing that I remember recently just looping over and over and over, and I'm like, wait, why am I watching this so many times? But I can't look away. I'm like just like it's like silly things like that, and that's like showing your personality, and like it's just so fun, man.
Thank you, but that's why I look at the comments. And then Gary, and like then I see what's working, and then I don't know what video, I don't know when I'm gonna do it. That's what she said. People always pop, so I try to get that in usually every video. I try to get a freaking jacked in, and then like I act and react based off what I see or what pops in my head.
You have to,
but that way it makes it like there's a lot of people on YouTube and like this isn't what you're doing. You're an entertainer on what you're at in these skits and like doing these things and it's money. But like there's some like YouTubers that are like doing like really, really dangerous things for attention and they keep having to up the ante because that's what the videos are putting out. And like there's guys burning like marks like
Jesus Christ.
Eating, the guys that drink like the massive amounts of sugar and like they're super talented actually on what they're able to do. But I tried some of those videos and they do good views wise, but I go, this isn't something I can sustain long term.
Yeah.
It's not beneficial. I go get my lab work. I don't want to, I'm 39 now. I'm not trying to eat anymore. I go, I did like the food videos where I did like 8 Impossible Whoppers and or 7 in 7 minutes, whatever it was. And I go, okay, cool. Maybe once a year for a monster cheat meal. That's something I go, but I can't do this ever.
Yeah. It's a toll on you, man.
Yeah. But there's some people, they get caught in that.
And
that it's a very dangerous game because then the viewers, it's not even I want them to fall in love with the personality because then no matter what I do, vegan food, now I'm keeping my audience, even though they don't do as good as some of the junk food. I'm keeping my audience so forth and actually doing healthier videos where I actually feel much better now because I'm actually helping people understand vegan food and expanding as I'm learning,
100%.
Expanding my diet on it. But the TikTok, Gary, the organic reach, that and LinkedIn are the two he's plugging like crazy.
LinkedIn's something I'm not really tapped into, but I got
a guy running it. Yeah, it's not easy. It's a different platform, but I have one of my guys that does my social media stuff. He runs that in my Pinterest account but TikTok. And we just started actually with my marketing advertising on there now this week. It just started.
How is that going?
They're going to find out. They're getting it all
Okay.
integrated with their system. That should be all done the next month. So they're going to give me weekly reports. So starting next week.
I'd love to hear how that is, because I've been like interested in it, for my donut punk company, but like I don't know enough about the TikTok advertising yet.
I just know he said it's doing really well for other people he's hooked it up with on there. This company, and so they're integrating it all for me. But I look at it as a win-win because there's a young audience on there too, but there's everyone's going over there now, and it's only going to continue to grow. And like I'm on every other platform. I go, why wouldn't I be on that? Because it all connects back together into the Feed Me More Nutrition. But also just for me is my branding with going back to wrestling eventually. But you're right, it's so crazy. You do a video, you put all this time and energy into it, and on TikTok, you see what you're capable of doing if they allow your stuff just to go. It's crazy what Instagram is doing on not allowing that for the majority of people. And like, because I've seen it, you put all this time and energy, and this is why I don't go that route, because my stuff is, with how bad it's been suppressed, I go, it's not catching on no matter what. I go, but on these other ones it is. So I'm just going to do whatever's the most efficient for me. But you put all this time and energy in, and then you get 1,000 views or 500 views on Instagram, and then you have something that could just take off on TikTok, and you see how quick your following could grow. And it's life-changing, like you said, it can be, because now all of a sudden people are being exposed to your talent. Whereas, but Instagram wants you to pay them $1,000 to you know what I mean, for the post to be seen by not even what it should have been seen by.
Are you doing Instagram Reels?
No, I've seen them. I'm not. I haven't hopped onto that.
Dude, that's been a game changer for me. Like,
really?
So really anything that I'm posting on TikTok, I try to also purpose for Instagram Reels. I've had a video recently on Instagram Reels break 5 million views.
Really?
Yeah, a character I did, like Karen's husband.
Holy hell.
And it was something, it was funny because I had posted it to just my regular Instagram TV 4 or 5 months before, but then I made little bite-sized snippets of the character from the original video, and I just put it up on Instagram Reels, and it blew up, and I gained like 10,000 followers on Instagram. Wow. It's surreal.
So, can you explain what? I'm not. There's Instagram. You got your post. You got your stories.
It's becoming a little convoluted. It's kind of too much.
Now, because every platform, Twitter has their fleets now, and which I'm okay with it. I post just promotional stuff on those. But what is the difference with the Instagram Reels? You know, because they have the IGTV also, which is a 15-minute time limit. I believe.
I think IGTV can go up to 60 minutes. I think
I could post this show on there then.
You totally could, dude. Like IGTV is like long form stuff. So I usually post like my full sketches or something on IGTV.
Yeah.
But Instagram Reels is kind of just like their version of TikTok, basically 30-second time limit versus 60. And I don't know, man, like I kind of like, similar to you, I try to take advantage of every platform that's out there. Like it's just real estate that, who knows who can see me as an actor or filmmaker. And so when I make something for TikTok, I try to keep it to 20 to 30 seconds period so that I can also just slap it up on Reels or anywhere else that I can. I always, I try to give these new apps a chance, like Byte and stuff, but if I'm not vibing with it quickly, like I usually get a little impatient and I kind of fade away. But I also don't know that like there's going to be anybody that competes with like an Instagram or a TikTok for quite some time.
They're so big. Do you get overwhelmed too? Because like I brought the people on. I used to do everything early on, and it was driving me crazy because there's so many damn platforms. It's like posting to Instagram and then to Snapchat, to TikTok,
it's a full-time thing, man. It is crazy.
Yeah. Even now, and like organizing the content to give to the people drives me crazy because I got my graphic guy. Like the graphic guy understands me now, but I still got to ask for this stuff and be specific at times. And then like I go crazy with everything I'm doing. I'm like, man, it's
It's a full-time thing right now for me. I've kind of got a loose schedule and rhythm happening, and I have to be really flexible as an actor because I get auditions and whatever, or a video idea will pop into my head that I got to seize very quickly for whatever reason. But I've got a pretty good schedule, or happy rhythm, as I'm calling it right now, where I try to shoot like 1 day a week, sometimes 2 days a week, a bunch of stuff, and everything's on my cell phone right now. I'm shooting everything on my cell phone. And then I try to make 1 day a week where I edit everything for the next week.
You're editing everything yourself too.
Dude, well, I have one guy that he's now helping me edit TikToks for my On Your Mark wrestling channel.
Yep.
Because it got to a point where I was like, I can't neglect that. It's like, I'm sure you feel the same way. It's like, I feel like I have all these plants that if I don't water, they're going to die. And I feel like that, that I have to maintain them because, what if that plant was the one that was going to grow to be this beautiful plant? But if I would have only watered it a little bit more, so I found this happy rhythm of, he edits my On Your Mark stuff, but I'm doing everything else as far as like my personal comedy content or promotion for my Donut Punk brand or my movie, or literally everything is done, through me. And I slip back and forth from feeling very overwhelmed and then this like, okay, I found this happy place, happy rhythm. But it is easy when you like, cause I don't know, are you the type of person that you can work on one thing until it's done? Or do you have things pop in your head and you're like, you jump over and you work on that thing and then you're back and you're kind of all over the place? Cause
I do both.
And, yeah. Okay.
But when I start doing that, I've learned I catch it and I go, just because I think a lot of people are like that, but in this lifestyle, the phones have conditioned us to like, we get very ADD. Like I'll start on one thing and then like, I do this like in my example, like my kitchen, when I get done working out, I go to start making my meal but I always like to have my coffee and I start making the meal. Then I'm like, I've got to hurry, put the coffee on to that. But I literally just go and then I got to do this. I got to send that email. I'm like, I got those stations and I'm just bouncing around. I go, wait a sec, just let's get the food going first.
Dude, you and I are so similar in that way. And I literally sometimes feel like you are a machine. It's been proven, but like, I feel
it's actually proven.
It's actually proven by scientists and the FDA. But I literally sometimes feel like a machine starts to overpower in my brain that I have to like calm myself down and like center myself and come back, because it is hard to like, you kind of spiral out of control when it's like, oh, I gotta do this and then that. And then like you said, I'll wake up in the morning and it's like, okay, feed me more protein shake and then my coffee and then whatever it is, like it's all over the place. And then I have to like bring myself back down. And then like,
you want to know something that really helps? And I just realized this because we'll talk about this with the vegan diet.
Chilling the fuck out.
Yeah. So this is going to be cilantro. I didn't realize it. So I bought cilantro this past week because I bought organic asparagus, organic cilantro, and like green chives. I'm doing carrots. I'm doing all these things that I've never done in my meals, organic mushrooms, tomatoes. And because I'm focusing on a micronutrient and antioxidant standpoint. But I found this past week, I go and I take my Hope Spot mood and stress support, which always makes a difference when I'm on that. Like I just know, I feel like I'm just happier, if that makes sense. But I noticed this past week, I don't even know, like when people say I have anxiety. I've clearly have had anxiety, but I never give it attention. Essentially, I'm just like, but I noticed this past week, I've had a very cool, calm sense, no matter how crazy things have gotten this week.
I love it.
And I found out, I go, why, what the hell changed? Where I'm like, cause I'll get like you, but if something goes wrong, then I'm like, and I get really agitated because I got all these other things I'm doing. So it can go from feeling amazing to getting like, we're this rage all of a sudden and like, fuck the world, fuck social media. I've been calm this week a lot more. And I look, and all of a sudden, one of my team members that makes images for me has been making these vegan images on the vegetables, and on it had cilantro. How it's great for anxiety and calm.
Wow.
And I go, wait a second, I've been cutting that up on my meals twice a day this whole past week, and it really it uplifts your mood.
Okay.
And like I'm using it, it's a good. Just go to the store, buy some cilantro.
I'm gonna snort it. I'm just gonna snort it.
Grind it up. You snort it before. I'm telling you, I've seen guys snort a lot worse.
I'm gonna do that. Yeah, definitely.
But so talk to me about this, everything, because we'll talk about the vegan diet a little too. But
yeah.
What you got? I saw you got some stuff going on. The horror. What's the horror movie first off?
So yeah. So I shot this horror movie, The Haunting of Grady Farm, in January of 2016. It's been that long. But it was, started very simple, of like a group of friends and I were seeing all of our filmmaker friends make movies. And so we kind of got together and like, let's just make a movie as best as we can with what we can. So we did a little bit of a Indiegogo before I knew how to really do those. And I, I advise anybody watching that's thinking about doing a Kickstarter or Indiegogo, really put the groundwork in and kind of like learning how to do it the right way before you just dive in and just ask people for money, because asking people for money just is not, it's a hard thing. And if you're not giving them something and you're just like asking for money for your thing, it's even harder. That being said, so we got together, we came up with this idea and went back to my hometown with the little money we raised on our feature. And we shot a found footage horror movie. We were donated locations and fire trucks and cars to light on fire and all kinds of crazy stuff. A lot of high production value stuff that would have cost a lot more money had we, done it the traditional ways. But being that we went back to my hometown, I think we were able to get a lot more than you usually would. And then, here's the truth with, if you don't have money for something, it's just going to be a different experience. It's going to take a lot longer. And that's why it took so long to release, because, I would raise a little bit of money, pay for visual effects. I'd raise a little bit of money, pay for sound, coloring, because I didn't want to neglect on these things. I didn't want to just like half-ass it and the movie just to end up on YouTube. So after we finished the movie, we started shopping it. We found this distribution company, High Octane Pictures, and that was in January of this year. We sold it to them, and then they released it November 3rd. And now it's like on all the on-demand platforms.
Is it really?
Yeah. So, which is like this wild feeling of, it's like letting your kid go off to college, and now it's like, all right, I hope you meet a good guy. I hope you do well. Because now it's for the first time out of my hands for so long. It was like, I was just in full control of this thing. And yeah, it's wild, man, because it's like I made a movie and that's what I'm here to do in this business. And,
yeah,
I've been a part of other movies and major films and indie films and all kinds of projects, but like my goal in this business is to make my own movies. And so it's like, this is the first one that I can be like, hey, I made this, and it's like a calling card, and it's like a bit of like, if this does well, it could lead to other opportunities. But yeah, man, The Haunting of Grady Farm, it's on Amazon, iTunes. Yeah. It's a quick found footage movie, that I'm like really proud of, but it was crazy, man. And like, I've learned with like now through doing the horror feature for what ended up being like $20,000, which is a lot of money, but for a movie, not a lot of money.
Yeah.
I learned, and then I've also on the other end of the spectrum, I've made a short film for $50,000. So, which was like the full film experience, full crew, exactly how you want it to be. You like realize the value of a full crew, but then you also, I learned through both experiences that you can make anything for any amount of money. You just got to go into it knowing that the experience is going to be way different. You're going to have a lot of personality clashes and all kinds of things. So, I advise anybody to make the thing they want to make. Just if you are heading to make like a feature, something that's a lot more time consuming, sit down with your team beforehand and kind of have a powwow and just be like, just know, we got to know that we're in this for the long haul. And it's going to be a lot of work physically and mentally.
Well, congratulations on that.
Thanks,
and that's
man.
such a big thing to have that available now. And like, my thing is in that movie now, and you get the experience, you do this, but that is now something that can make you money essentially, right? At any point in time. So now when you do other things and you're hustling online and you're doing other things, you actually have something though that, you could be sleeping at night and you're making money on people
That's
ordering.
The goal, man. That's
right?
the goal.
That's such a great feeling. And man, I'm so happy for you on that. And
Thank you, dude.
It's because you're very talented with the things that you do. And like to be able to get the exposure too on like a TikTok, I think that's just a testament to show like that doesn't just happen. Like it's, you gotta have something for that to fall into that, to get going and to keep going.
Oh,
some
thanks,
of the
man.
numbers you're getting. So it's man, it's great
I like
see.
to think that, for the most part, people that connect on social media, it's because they've found a place of, I mean, there are other cases, but for me, I feel like why I'm finally connecting is because I think I went through, to be very transparent, many years of trying to find my identity online. Like I knew who I was offline, but like trying to find my identity or my way to showcase who I really am online, because you get really caught up in like, do I look cool enough? Am I funny enough? Like, it's hard not to compare yourself to others. But I feel like I've said this word or this phrase many times, this happy rhythm. Like, I feel like I found this happy rhythm of like, just not giving a shit about what people think about me, like not comparing, and in comedies, especially like not comparing myself to other comedians or trying to be like other comedians or
what they're going to think.
What they're going to think. Just like finding this happy rhythm of, if I think something's funny, if I truly believe it's funny or whatever I want to make, just putting it out there without thought and then, doing what you want with it. If it doesn't connect, take it down if you want, but there's just not a lot of like judgment or thought put into what I'm doing. And I'm being as like real as I've ever been online. And I'm seeing the results of it. Like, it's
the best way to be. That's why I said, just be yourself. And if before I post stuff like, man, what are these people going to think? Or what are they going to think? And like, it would limit me what I do. And I don't even my thought process is so far away from that now. And where I feel like it allows me to just be silly, be funny. Like I used to do that for wrestling when I was very serious. The initial, if I would have had, this stuff going, my initial run is Ryback, that 2012 to 13 run. I would have been terrified of just being myself, because I was like, I don't want to ruin the character or this and that. But I found that I knew how limiting that was in that role, even though it was doing well. But I go, what I'm doing now is what I want to be in wrestling. And you can be serious when you're fighting, but I could be anything now, because I'm just being me. The handcuffs came off, and where I'm not worried about, well, that's not very what a wrestler, and I can do whatever I want. And when you let that go, it's the most liberating feeling in the world. And you've done it. And what happens is you'll start finding your people. And you don't have to change anything. It makes producing content a lot easier. It makes just doing things a lot easier. So that's huge.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I think that, it's funny you bring that up, because it makes me think I've occasionally been, I've gone to some wrestling schools, not to teach wrestling, because my knowledge of pro wrestling is I can work a basic match with your Ryback right now, but I can't pull out a 5-star right now. But what I have been brought to wrestling.
Dave Meltzer's just left the conversation.
Dave Meltzer just left. But what I can't, what I have gone to wrestling schools for is to help with promos and improv skills and the acting side of wrestling, because I spent some time in wrestling, and then I, dove real deep headfirst into acting. And I feel like that's a part of wrestling training and wrestling in general that's really neglected. It's so important to learn the moves, the psychology, the wrestling, and work on your body. But a lot of wrestlers forget that final muscle that's up here, that is not, I don't want to say just acting, but it's this like creative muscle in your brain that is so neglected by wrestling personalities. You watch wrestling and you can 90% of them, to me watching, it's like cookie cutter. I'm saying things, I'm doing things exactly the way I've seen it, and I'm not me. But I think it's a product of how a lot of people are, and some people are different. They're just naturally fully open and just themselves from day one. But I feel like most of us, not to get too deep, but this is kind of how I view it and have taught guys at wrestling schools, is like, we go through life, and I feel like we're born and we're these fully open creatures. We're kids and we're playing around and we're licking doorknobs and crazy shit. But like
eating cockroaches, true story. As a kid, no fear.
That's how you're so jacked now. That's how you're so jacked now.
How did eating cockroach? I literally walked into my house with a cockroach as a baby, a kid. My mom had said I bit the head off right in front of her. So
I'd like to think that's why you ended up as jacked as you are, man.
Baby Ryback, it just
baby Ryback.
That cockroach. That was a horrible thing to do.
But like I feel like we go through life and go through school and we put all these like onion layers on ourselves because of insecurities or whatever. And I got to imagine, like, even you going through the WWE system, I got to imagine you inevitably put more layers on yourself, because it's like got to be this mind fuck. That's at least how I picture it, more than I could ever imagine. And I like to think if I would have gone to WWE, because when I was doing indies in 2004 to 2007, I was hearing like that they're interested in giving me a tryout and all this stuff. And I think back now, I'm like, it would have chewed me up and spit me out then. Because I was crumbling from the pressure of working with dudes that were like kind of like double my age and just like going out there and getting my ass kicked because like I didn't know what I was doing or how to stand up for myself at the time. Like I wasn't ready mentally. I had all these layers on me. But like what I like to teach the wrestlers or any, buddy that like I work with is that like you've got to do certain things to start peeling those layers off. And it's not the same for everybody, but like things like improv classes, acting classes, making videos, doing funny voices or cutting promos in front of a mirror. Like these are all things that over time you'll start to notice you're speaking different, you're feeling different, you're moving different, because you're sinking back into your true self, that baby that, you pushed away into a closet all that time.
Yeah.
But that's just one of my biggest like peeves with wrestling is like, you've got these talented mega performers, these guys that really are like actors. And I think we spoke about this, actors that like are just mega actors because they're out there, they're stunts and they're learning scripts and all these things, but that most of them, and not all of them, because you've got amazingly talented people in this business, but there's a lot of them that neglect that part of their brain, that creative muscle. And that's
the entertainer. But what happened? See, there's different reasons why guys get into wrestling. And I'm a guy that played sports and get in, and I respect and I love it. I could learn any of the moves. I could do any of it. We can go in there. We can go. I could learn. I go learn the 100 different roll-ups. I think it's cool. I like it. Now, is it all going to apply to me at all times? No, but I understand and I respect it. And you find a way to make money in the business. But there's guys that get into it, and like for me, I was always drawn to the entertainment aspect of pro wrestling, and as well as the physicality. And that's the sport and becoming from sports. So I feel like I have a fundamental understanding of all aspects of pro wrestling. And to me, that was always part of learning that. And the focus used to be a lot more on trying to tap into that inner personality and to find a way to get that to come out. Whereas now what you see is it's guys that just go to wrestling school. It's that Dave Meltzer psychology where they think it's just real sport. It's not real. It'll never be real. It's not real. It's fake. There's a lot of real moments in it, in intensity and energy wise. but it's fake at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But to try to make it think like it's just this real competition, it never is. Guys are working with each other at all times. It's not a shoot. It's not, so there's no real competitive aspect on that end to me, but I respect it and understand it. You want it to be believable at all times, but they neglect the entertainment and the character aspect where they think it's just move, no emotion, move.
It's theater, and you've got to work on that acting part of the brain. You have to.
Absolutely.
And it is and I think that there's a lot of guys that are just like, well, I'm not an actor. I'm never going to be, and I think they neglect it because they just think they can't get there. They think they're not good at it, whatever. They think that
practice.
They can't get there, but it does take practice. It's like, yes, some people are just born with natural charisma and they stay with it and they can tap into it immediately. But then others have to, just like going to the gym, work that muscle and get there. And yeah, man, like it's funny you say the thing about, when I wrestled, that's all I cared about. It was the performance, the character, the storytelling, the promos, like, and then I was like, oh yeah, and then I'll wrestle too. But like, it's like, and then I found out quickly, like, this is why I lost my heart for it quickly, is because YouTube came along and I was way more into that, and I was my heart just wasn't in it full time. And
absolutely.
And in wrestling, your heart has to be in it fully to do it, or don't freaking do it. But yeah, man. And it's funny you say that. It's like the believability, it's got to be believable. I think back on wrestling in the time that it was most believable to me. And I've been back rewatching this era, and it still feels so real and different to me. But it was when the NWO and WCW started being introduced. It was like there was nothing like it as a kid. It was like this. It felt so real that I would get in arguments at school with my friends that like, I know you think wrestling's funny, but this is real. There's no way they're using their real names. They're like invading the show. Like,
things weren't though heavily scripted back then too, where they were running all these spots. So things would get sloppy.
And that's
times.
why
I
love that. I love that. Like
sloppy.
that controlled chaos, so to say. And that's why, to me, like, to be very transparent, like I have not been interested in the WWE product in a very long time, to the point where I'm like, I've been a customer of the network since day one, that now I'm like hitting this point of like, why am I keeping it? And I'm like on the fence of just canceling it, because one, for financial reasons.
You're like in an abusive relationship right now.
Yeah, it's like, why am I sticking around here? And then on the other side of the fence, I am so into AEW. So it's not wrestling. It's the product. It's that, like you said, there is a lot of, you can tell just like them letting the guys have fun and try things. And then, stumbling across these happy accidents that turn into, I got to imagine on AEW, there's been so many just happy accidents that have turned into some of their best moments. And that's what's gone in WWE. It's the business model, and it is what it is. That's why I'm so excited for wrestling again, and I'm seeing it, and I go, that's the promotion. That's what I got into wrestling for. All you ask for is an opportunity, and then like I did in WWE, and if it's working, just run with it. And that's all that you could ask for, and allow people to go out there and express their personalities and do their other things and do other ventures and become megastars. That's what wrestling needs. We need megastars. So, and I said this, AEW, I think the biggest stars in wrestling from now on are coming from AEW. And I heard you say that recently. And I think you also said that you could easily see it and become the number one company. And I truly believe that too. It's going to take a little bit of time, but like, WWE's also.
I said that because of me going there, but that's yes.
Sure. But no, I really do believe that. And if they're watching, if Ryback needs a manager, Marky Extreme is the hell of a guy on the stick.
Maybe we could have you as part of the whole, what is Big Daddy Ryback with me and the Phoenix Marie, because I pitched this to Phoenix with me, Phoenix, Kimmy Granger, and Kendra Lust. And my Big Papa Pump gimmick, and it's the
I love
feed
that.
me if you need me. This goes to all the hungry hoes out there. Big Daddy Ryback is your meal ticket. Feed me if you need me. And then
I'm so down.
The girls fall to their knees and like kind of bow to me, and then I kiss my biceps. And maybe you're just you're the real you don't shave the manager, the scummy. You're managing a wrestler and porn stars.
I want to be like I would love to I've always thought about doing a managerial position as like Mark E or something eventually, like because I still have such a passion for wrestling. I'm not, but I'm not interested in going out there and, I couldn't have an AEW caliber match if I tried right now, but like, I know I could go out there.
God, I would pay to watch that though. Like I would every week that you're out there, they give you 20 with like the top guys.
Just with Kenny Omega, like,
but it's just, you just can't keep up. It would be the highest rated segment every week.
But here's the thing let's think about that. Like I've always like thought like maybe there's a place for Marky Extreme in like comedy matches, like put him out there with like a Kenny Omega where he's really trying to have a 5-star match. And it's like, but that to me is like that did you ever see the $5 wrestling that they were doing on YouTube for a bit with like Freight Train? And oh my gosh, it's basically
I've heard of that. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like comedy wrestling where these guys are, like trying to go out there and have good matches.
They weren't purposely trying to be funny, but it ended up being like funny.
Very funny. Yeah.
Funny. Freight Train. I remember hearing Luke Gallows talk about him.
Yeah, right on. So like, but yeah, I have always had like an interest of like maybe there's a place for Marky to have like some comedy matches, and I have with some indie promotions, but yeah, that's with wrestling. It's funny, like I am in such a happy place with my acting, and I've been fortunate enough to book some really cool gigs, but there's always an itch to do something in wrestling. I can't. What is it, man? It's like you can't escape it once you get into it. Like it's as cliche as you hear. It's like once you've kind of tasted it, it's like this.
It's the energy and the adrenaline.
The adrenaline, I think.
I routinely think about like my return and a full crowd and hearing the music again. And like for me, my favorite moments in wrestling are the entrance. When the Feed Me More would hit and I'd be dumping ice cold water in the gorilla and going out there and getting to be this larger than life character, whether babyface or heel, but babyface to me was always more rewarding. I love the positive energy like that and feeling the arenas, man. And at that level, I truly like, I have to experience it again. Have to.
Man.
That was the drive to get my health back for that. But it's something, I can never, I didn't know what the options were going to be after the health thing. And then now getting it back and then AEW coming, I'm like, now there's there's a very, the light at the end of the tunnel, and I'm really excited, but it's in all of us. I think it's the most special thing in the world. Mm-hmm. And I can't wait for fans to get back and, because it's greatly, greatly hurting the product overall. But
well, like you said, there is a light at the end of the tunnel finally, and I think that it's going to be sooner rather than later. I agree. I agree. And then that'll, once it's going to still take some time, but like at least there's some hope finally.
There is. Talk to me real quick too. I wanted to ask you this because I just recently did a video with vegan donuts here at Pink Box, and which they blew my balls off. They were these donuts were just every bit as good as regular donuts. They just don't have the dairy. But what's the deal? You have the donut punk thing.
Yeah. So I had been for a really long time looking, as an actor when you're not booking or whatever, it's a job to job type gig. So I was always looking for like a side hustle that like I enjoy doing, and I dabbled in like some businesses where I put actors on tape for auditions, or I edited actors' demo reels or that kind of thing. But like, it just was like, I was never passionate about it. And it's like, if you got to find something that you love doing with this life. Like you really have to. So about a year ago, I was getting really inspired by seeing other people around me and some internet personalities making these like apparel companies and them doing really well. And I was like, well, I've always kind of had that in my head. Like it'd be kind of fun to do something like that. Like takes my creativity and put it onto fashion and whatever. And then it was like, I think it was like, I'm wearing the shirt of this company, Gecko Hawaii, which when I was a kid in the 90s, Gecko was huge.
I used to wear that.
Yeah.
That stuff.
And
I remember black one.
And I remember when they disappeared, I always was like this, I couldn't remember what the name of the company was or whatever, but it was like this image of this company was always in my head. And I was always looking for these shirts. And then they relaunched recently. And so it kind of inspired me. And like, that's what it's kind of the same look and feel that I'm trying to go for. It's this like 90s nostalgic, colorful shirts and stuff. But what I had this idea a year ago, it's like, was the loose idea of Donut Punk was like, I wanted to take my two favorite things that are like, I love donuts and I love 90s nostalgia. And like, I wanted to puke them into a apparel company.
What's your favorite kind of donut, if you don't mind me asking?
Oh man, I'm a sucker. I do. I'm very open-minded with donuts, but like, I love a donuts that's just got a shit ton of toppings, like the extra donuts, like, you know, the mega donuts. Like
I've always been a maple and a fritter guy. Those fritters,
maple, interesting.
Yeah,
right on.
Maple since I was a kid.
I love that. So I spent a really long time. I've been working on it for a year before I launched it, and which is really not a long time, but I wanted to spend a long time really developing the image and you know, figuring out what it was going to be, because what it is now is not really what it started as. And so I put a lot of time in working with artists and creating the image and creating the feel of it and creating some designs. And then I hit a point where I was like, I don't know how to put this out there. And like, I could have, and I was very close to going down the route of like a print on demand company. But then I found a friend of mine worked at a clothing manufacturing company. And I just kind of reached out to him and was like, hey man, I have this like idea, but I don't know how to, get it out there, get the shirts out there, do that whole side of it. And he's like, we can help you with that. Like, let's partner on this. And so it's like, basically they're the people that I go to when I have the designs, the ideas, and kind of the game plan of discounts or whatever. But then they come to me with like, we pick out the quality of the shirts. Like, it's very hands-on as far as everything goes, which I wanted it to be. I wanted it to be very high quality and as best of experience as possible. So yeah, they're handling the printing, the stocking in their warehouse, the shipping, and then I'm kind of the creative part of the company, which is, it's been really cool, man. And right now, as we launched a month ago, so now's the phase of just like getting the word out there, brand awareness. Yeah. Like, I know I'm not going to be making a lot of money anytime soon. And I went into it with that mindset. It's like, I'm going to need to put a lot into it up front to get the word out there. But I know eventually it will start paying for itself, and then I will start making money,
Absolutely. On that too. So it's Donut Punk. Where do people go to get that?
Yeah, it's just donutpunk.com.
Okay.
And we've got a Black Friday sale happening right now, 30% off with discount code Black Friday Donuts.
Very nice.
But yeah, I'm partial because it's my company, but I love the stuff we're making. It's very 90s inspired.
Is that for the people that like 90s stuff? Is like, that's what
I'm aiming to that. Those people.
If somebody's wearing a Donut Punk shirt, like, what does that represent? Like,
to me, I like to say it's like the love of donuts with like 90s vibes, cross up. So it's like, I'm targeting very much to the 90s nostalgic audience, but like, it also touches on like the foodie crowd and like,
absolutely.
Like, it's just a fun logo too, that I'm really excited about. But I lost my train of thought, but like, I'm really right now just trying to get the word out there, and like, I'm partial, but like, I love it. And my long-term vision, I remember what I was going to say. My long-term vision is like, right now, it's just like everything you see on the store is basically just like the Donut Punk brand. It's like it's just all the signature stuff. But down the line, I do have this long-term vision of doing like lines of like the Jurassic Park drop or the Back to the Future line, very like 90s nostalgic targeted things. you know, so that's the long-term vision. But right now it's just kind of like getting people used to the donut punk brand. So,
well, I tell you, I just found out there's another place in Vegas that has the vegan donuts, but I'll wait to do that when I have the donut punk shirt. I will wear that for when I do my next vegan donut video.
That'd be sick. I reached out and asked for your size. I have to stock up on those because it's good.
Everything I wear is 3 or 4X. Like that's
right
what people whenever I see people seeing the video, like, oh, you don't look that big. I'm like, I'm in a 3 or 4X shirt right now. Like you gotta like
wild, dude.
Nobody in person ever says that. Oh, the only ones that do are women. Like every once in a while, a woman like at the doctor's office goes, she was like, I'm such a huge fan. This was like 2 weeks ago. She goes, oh, I thought you'd be way bigger. And she's like this short little 5'3" girl. And I'm just like, I'm sorry. and like, she said something like, so I love Stone Cold too. I go, yeah, he's the same size height wise as me, just so you know, just so I really ruin it for her. She's like, oh, these short guys. I wanted to ask you before we wrap up today, though.
Yeah.
Who we got the big fight tonight? Mike Tyson versus Roy Jones. Who do you got? Are you watching this thing? I'm debating on ordering this or not.
Same. I'm on the fence, like because it's like with boxing, you know, it's tough. I'm not super into boxing, but like the spectacle of seeing Tyson again is really, really pulling me in.
I got some weird rules on this thing too.
Well, so what is it? Like
the rules are very, very soft. Like there's no knockout. It says I think they made these rules to get this fight approved. And fighters are going to go in and just go like, there's no way Tyson's going in there and having an exhibition.
Wow.
If they do, but you never know. Like I think when I saw the face off, it looks like Roy Jones looks like he's looking at Tyson. Tyson's very, very serious. And dude,
I would be very surprised if Tyson didn't win this thing. Like he is another breed. Probably from the same loins that you're from, you know, like just like a different machine. No, for real though. Like there are people like you, people like him that are they're just different machines, man. They're just made differently.
I appreciate the comparison. That's very kind of you.
I've always said
claims he's cut from the same cloth as Mike Tyson.
I've always said Ryback is the Tyson of wrestling.
Thank you.
And that's a good Twitter bio right there. But yeah, man, I don't know. I'm very interested. I also, it's funny when I came into this, I wanted to pick get your opinion on something in wrestling. Do you think Taker's done for real?
No, I think they're gonna. We talked about this on the show yesterday. I think it was a great business move as far as having a farewell for the 30th anniversary thing. I think the moment there's a crowd back, Vince is going to find a way to do something with him again. Whether now, because in wrestling, retirements and all that it was a farewell, but it wasn't like, I don't think I've heard the word retired yet.
Sure.
So I think, the moment you can't.
You're right. They were very specific. They never said retirement.
They said farewell. And I think that was done for Vince is a great businessman on that. And I think when there's a crowd back, they give him the proper send.
I'm still so bitter because I am the biggest Sting mark there ever has been.
Yeah.
I'm still so bitter and I don't get it. And maybe you can bring me down and make me understand this from a different perspective. Why have we not at least gotten a Sting Undertaker face-to-face moment of some kind? Even if it's like face-to-face handshake. Hey, we never hated each other. Like, just something for the fans because people.
How great would that be if at WrestleMania, the Undertaker, they do a special thing and it's one last thing and it is the retirement, and then Sting, the music hits and he comes out and they have the embrace with a handshake and that's the final send off.
I mean, I would love that, and there's the mark in me is always trying to find some place that this could happen, but it's like
I want that to happen. Then the Fiend's music hits and he puts them both down and they make the Fiend all the way.
Genius.
That, to me,
genius.
Put me in the room. Let me book it. Let's use the energy from these old guys that we all love. Let's use that energy to put into these new guys. Let's do it. That's what always the formula was. Why did we abandon this? Fiend is at a whole new level.
Fiend
There
is,
you go.
Fiend is genuinely the only thing in WWE that interests me. I mean, there's some other great things. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I shouldn't shit on the whole product. Like what Roman's doing is so rad.
It's great. Yeah.
But the Fiend is just still, and now with Alexa Bliss, I'm just like even more interested. It is the only thing that I have slight interest in the product. But yeah, back to Sting and Taker. I've never understood why it never happened immediately when they got Sting, and even furthermore, like the years since, like, sure, if you don't want to put Sting out there to wrestle, he can still go out there and have a segment in the garb, and like the moment and the money you guys could make off that clip alone. I just don't understand why they've done everything else. Why haven't they done that?
And maybe that's a thing that's, I think, if the Taker finally does have, I think that is something I think there's still a possibility. I don't think the match is happening, but I think there's the possibility of
maybe a cinematic match where it's like very, very carefully done. But man, I don't know. I've just never understood it, and it's always frustrated me.
There's major money in that. The cinematic match where they could really, really take their time and shoot that, and really, I think that would be.
I thought it was going to happen at the Boneyard match at Mania. Like I thought we were going to get a Sting cameo, and like, I was like, oh, this is where it's going to finally happen. But
I'm laughing. One of the fans watching says, "You look like John Moxley. We should have just billed you as. I should have just billed this as John Moxley.
Why didn't you just build me as John Moxley?
Next time you're
and then I would have reaped the benefits.
You played the part of John Moxley, and we'll see how we'll do the whole thing as you NWO John Moxley.
Dude, I love that. Let's do that. That's genius. I get that so much online, like that I look like him. And I'll never forget one time when I've done some stuff as Marquee Extreme with Impact Wrestling, and I'll never forget when the first time I did it, we did our stuff with him, shot a lot of backstage segments and all this kind of stuff. And then when the show happened, they're like, yeah, just go sit out in the crowd and watch the show. And so I like put my regular clothes on, and my hair was long like his, and I had like my leather jacket. And people were freaking the hell out thinking Moxley was in the crowd at Impact Wrestling.
We got to do this. I popped because Renee Young she was hopefully going to do the show last week, but she got pregnant.
So cool.
That took over doing the show. No, but
everybody tweet Renee and say, "Why'd you get pregnant? You're supposed to do Ryback's podcast.
You're supposed to do a podcast." But I get it. I guess but she did. John. She has her new podcast now, and I listened to the first half with. And John was obviously her first guest.
Okay.
But John, my name came up on it in the beginning because John, I guess, does like a Ryback, this character that has a Ryback-esque voice.
I love
But he goes, oh, man, I miss that guy. Such a sweet, sweet man.
Oh, that's
John
sick.
Moxley describing Ryback I'm described as a sweet man that he missed. And I go, I'll take it. I'll take it. So
that's cool, man. Yeah, I mean, the outside looking in, like you can, as a viewer now in wrestling, like you can kind of see the guys that are like, you just feel an energy that they're like genuinely like good people.
Yeah.
And he's one of them. You're one of them. And as somebody in the chat said, Sting versus Ryback, I'd pay to see that.
That AEW possibly.
Yeah, that's another thing that I'm like, I don't see it anything with Sting and Taker because I have a gut feeling we'll see Sting in AEW before Sting goes back to WWE.
The way Cody and them what they're doing, they've opened themselves up to, and I look at it like this: they're in the wrestling business now. They could do anything.
Mm-hmm.
There's no limits to this. They can create as big of stars as they want now, and I think they've realized that, and we're seeing it with the people that they're creating right now. And early on, they had the fan base that was, that I think that they maybe were opposed to WWE talents coming. Not when you bring the right ones in. This isn't bringing in guys that are the WCW that were at the end of their careers. This is bringing in guys, and you could literally that can go.
Although, dude, I think there's money in Kiwi. I still think there's money in Kiwi. I don't know.
The Maestro. Let's get them all back.
Hell yeah.
Lash LaRue. My first tag match in Deep South Wrestling was with Lash LaRue.
No shit.
I had my eardrum, I got cauliflower ear. It was all blown up. Bill DeMott made me wear the amateur wrestling headgear for my debut match. I looked like Warren from There's Something About Mary.
Oh,
Have you seen my baseball?
God.
And my hair was all wild. I was the silverback Ryan Reeves. Problem is I couldn't hear in the headset
Uh-huh.
on the earmuffs
Uh-huh.
and the wrestling headgear. And there's something happened, and we first match. The dog's barking. Something went wrong in the match, and I remember I like just freaked out and did the dive and tagged Lash LaRue, who was not ready to come in, and the match was just it was my first match, and but I always remember Lash LaRue. But I do remember there was one other thing that came up with Lash. He used to, because he was a little bit overweight when he came down there because he'd been out of wrestling for a bit. But somebody said, like, Lash, like, how were you in like such a good shape in WCW? And he just went, growth. Which the entire everyone just popped.
I always liked him in WCW.
Yeah.
Even as a kid, I was like, he's fun. He was always fun.
So, but anyways, well, man, I appreciate you coming on.
No, man, I appreciate you taking the time to let me come on. Like,
absolutely.
And you know, as busy as you are, like to, just let me hop on here. I appreciate it.
No, well, thank you. And what's anything to plug to wrap up?
Yeah. I mean, donutpunk.com. Like I said, we have a Black Friday sale happening, 30% off everything at donutpunk.com with discount code Black Friday Donuts. It's a fun, different kinds of apparel you can get your friends or family for Christmas. And also my horror film, The Haunting of Grady Farm, which is on Amazon, iTunes, everything. But the distribution company told us if we get more of a kickback as the creators on Amazon. So if you do have a choice to purchase it anywhere, definitely check it out on Amazon. And I want to say too, like, everything you watch or any podcast you listen to, like, emphasizes on like rating and reviews. You hear it all the time, but it is so important for creators and it helps us get the word out there more. So if you like what you're consuming, like, take a minute. It only takes like a minute to review something.
Yep.
And that being said, like, it will help us with The Haunting of Grady Farm. After you watch it, give it a quick review on Amazon.
Good deal. And yeah, I can't. The same for this show. I always ask if you can leave a 5-star review or leave just an honest review. It greatly helps the cause, and it is always greatly appreciated. And guys, I do want to say also, Feed Me More Nutrition, our Black Friday sale, 30% off, 30% with discount code Black Friday 30 on feedmemore.com for the best supplements on the planet. That ends tomorrow at midnight. So get you some, as I like to say, and
get jacked,
freaking jacked. But anyways, thank you, buddy, very much. And thank you guys. You've just listened to another episode of the Ryback Show. Feed me more.